I am deeply troubled by what I have just read. It seems that there is a sentiment that is starting to spread and gather traction at Stamford Bridge that suggests that Mauricio Pochettino is the problem at the club. There seems to be some rather large Chelsea accounts that believe that Pochettino needs to be replaced. 6 games into the season, the instability that would cause, the ramifications of making such a drastic move this early in the season, I cannot get my head around it. It is totally unfathomable to me how you can see what's been going on at Chelsea and blame Mauricio Pochettino. Yes, Mauricio Pochettino's getting it wrong. Now look, in this video, I'm going to make a clear case as to why I believe that Mauricio Pochettino needs to be backed. I think that whatever you think is going on at the club, Pochettino needs to be backed wholeheartedly. We need to pledge unilateral, aggressive love and support to Mauricio Pochettino because he is our only hope of getting out of this mess. He is the only genuine football man at that club who has an understanding of the game. He is the only person at the club that has any sort of voice, any sort of say that understands the culture of football. He is the only football man, and therefore we must pledge allegiance to him. The fact that some people are having a conversation around Bowley and Egg Barley getting rid of Pochettino. If you are directing your ire and anger, and legitimate anger, in fact, it's legitimate anger because this season has been a catastrophe already. But if you are directing your ire and venom anywhere aside from the board, you are so misguided. Mauricio Pochettino, whatever you think of him, is clearly good enough to manage this crop of players. He clearly has a proven track record to get Chelsea out of this situation that we find ourselves in. Mauricio Pochettino is not the problem. The problem is the venture capitalists whose sole purpose is to extract money from our club. When they bought the club, did anybody ask why? Why did they buy it? Why did Todd Bowley want to buy the club? He didn't buy it because he loves Stamford Bridge. He didn't buy it because when he was growing up, he idolised Ray Wilkins. He thought that Ron Harris was a pretty good chap, perhaps. Of course he didn't. He bought Chelsea for the furtherance of his economic value and gain. That is why he purchased Chelsea. And Mauricio Pochettino is a football man, truly a football man. Played the game top level and has managed at the top level. And yet, some people are genuinely seeing Pochettino as the problem. Now look, I don't agree with this on any level. But I will concede that Pochettino is making mistakes. And some of the mistakes, they feel unforgivable at the time. You know, the fact that he persists with Levi Colwill as a left-back, it's incredibly frustrating. It's totally unnecessary. And it destabilises our rhythm and team. When you explore why he's doing that as well, he's doing it, I think, to preserve Thiago Silva's status in the team, which again, I think can be explored. So I find Colwill's positioning really annoying. I find Cole's positioning even more annoying when you think of the fact that we got 3 left backs available to Pochettino. So yeah, it's annoying. Enzo Fernandez is obviously playing too far forward. Ben Chilwell is costing us games because he's playing out of position. He's playing as a left winger, and when he gets a chance, because he's playing so far forward, he invariably doesn't take it. I'd say every game so far this season where he's played as a left winger, he's had an opportunity, and because he doesn't have that ruthless finish, we aren't scoring the goals. So yeah, Pochettino's getting some things wrong. Pochettino is desperately in need of improvement. He must steady this ship. We must win our next 2 league games. I would love to beat Brighton in the cup, and it is essential that Pochettino improves. Now, if you are feeling like Pochettino needs to be replaced, I do see where you're coming from. We are so far off our rivals, or should I say our so-called rivals. When you watch what Arsenal are doing, when you watch what Tottenham are doing, drives you mad. Even Manchester United. They've lost 3 games already this season. They've practically got double the points we have. I know how frustrating it is. But ask yourselves why. And who is at the epicenter of the problem? Is it Mauricio Pochettino, a man who took Tottenham to a European final? A man who has won La Liga? Is it Mauricio Pochettino? Or is it this ridiculously idiotic board? Realistically, what can Pochettino do? Think about it. What can he do? It is this board who have spent £1 billion and provided him with Nicholas Jackson. It's this squad who have spent £1 billion and haven't really given him a centre forward. They have provided Pochettino with the most profligate striker in the league. That's a fact. Nicholas Jackson is the most profligate striker in the league. He is more wasteful than any other striker currently playing football in the Premier League. So the board have spent $1 billion, and that is who they have provided Mauricio Pochettino with. Realistically, what can he do? So when things aren't going well, when we're a goal down, who does he bring on? He needs a striker to bring on. He's bringing on Broja. Off the back of spending £1 billion, he is bringing on Broja. How is that even possible? Like, we have managed to amass 28 shots on target in our Premier League games. 28 shots on target. We've scored 5 goals. What can Pochettino do? We don't have a clear-cut finisher. We don't have someone in the squad who can take a game by the scruff of the neck. You know those senior pros? Remember back in the day when it was Essien, Makelele, Ballack, Lampard, Terry, Ashley Cole? It didn't matter. They would say, right, this is what's going to happen here. We demand. We're losing to Villa. We're on the 70th minute. We're losing to Villa. Ballack says no. We're gonna right this wrong. We're going to right this wrong. We've got 20 minutes and we're going to win this game. Everyone in our squad is a child. Nobody has that sort of aura. Nobody has that sort of status to demand that everybody elevates their game. And that is because the board are signing players who they believe will increase in value, not players who they believe will increase the performance on the pitch. It's not about signing good footballers. It's not about accruing points. It's not about creating a team that can challenge at the very top. It is about creating a team that will increase in value. And the way that you do that is sign good, young footballers, put them on massive contracts. And as the tide rises in football, as the money exponentially goes up, so does their value, so does the value of the club. And that is how they extract as much money out of the club as possible. So Mauricio Pochettino, he's fighting with his hands tied behind his back. What can he do? Because he hasn't been provided with the players that he needs. So we need Pochettino at the club. We desperately do. And if you are judging him now, you are so harsh. Because, look, I don't like using injuries as an excuse. And in fact, I'm not using injuries as an excuse here. I'm just using them as a reason. Chelsea have 12 players out. Why do we have so many injuries, do you ask? How's our medical? Yeah, we've got a new medical team. Why do we have a new medical team? Yeah, because the entire medical team got sacked by Todd Bowley. A man who totally understands football, by the way. Understands what footballers need when looking at it through a medical prism. He totally gets that. And now we've got 12 players out. First teamers as well. And in Christopher Nkunku, the player that Pochettino would build a team around. We saw it in pre-season. The jewel in our crown in pre-season was Christopher Nkunku. We were going to build a team around him. Pochettino had set up for everything to revolve around Nkunku. So before we judge Pochettino, before we even dream of talking about sacking Pochettino, surely, we have to see Pochettino manage a team that is his perfect team, his first team. Also, or at least get his best player back, surely, his key man. So I think that it's wild. I do understand why people are feeling so angry. I do get it. But we must remember that it is this board who have sold off the players who understand the club. It's this board who have provided him with only youth. It's this board who have made woeful decisions in the transfer market. It's this board who have... Think of any example. Billy Gilmore, how's he doing at the moment, right? Callum Hudson-Odoi. We basically gave Callum Hudson-Odoi away for free. Callum Hudson-Odoi left the club. 4 million quid, we'll call it. 4 million. We signed Mauricio Pochettino. We signed Mykhailo Mudryk for 88 million. Whether you think Mykhailo Mudryk's a better player, is he that much better? Is he 84 million pounds worth of better? Have you ever seen Mykhailo Mudryk score a goal like Callum Hudson-Odoi scored the other night? I most certainly haven't. Even if you think about the game the other day, you know, we obviously spent 220 million quid on Caicedo and Fernandes, and look at what Villa did. You know, Villa, Dougie Luiz and Kamara, 15 million. So it's all very well to talk about owners spending money. I said that the owners are terrible. I said I want our owners out on Twitter, and everybody went wild. And lots of fans from other clubs started saying to me, but they spend all the money, they spend loads of money. There is a difference between being a good manager and being a splashy manager, being a good owner and a splashy owner. You can be a really bad owner and spend lots of money. If you are a venture capitalist billionaire, spending money is the easiest thing in the world for you. Nurturing the club, taking care of the club, not doing everything for your own ends is so much more difficult. So look, we haven't scored in 3 games now. We are totally and utterly all over the place. But it isn't a Pochettino issue. We haven't scored goals this year. And that's all under the same ownership. This calendar year, doesn't matter who was manager, doesn't matter whether it's Potter, doesn't matter whether it's Lampard, doesn't matter whether it's Pochettino. We can't score goals. And why can't we score goals? Because the players are not purchased with that in mind. If you want to genuinely improve Chelsea for today, you go and sign James Maddison, don't you? Not Cole Palmer. If you really want to improve Chelsea for today, you go and sign James Ward-Prowse. You don't go and sign Romeo Lavia. If you want to improve Chelsea for today, you sign a centre-forward with a proven track record of scoring goals in the Premier League today. You don't sign Nicholas Jackson, who had a purple patch for Villarreal towards the end of last season. So, yes, Pochettino is getting some stuff wrong. But we have to employ an element of critical thinking here. He is obviously a good manager. But he is being led down the garden path by this board who couldn't care less about Chelsea and are only in it for the money. So any conversation around Pochettino's future, he is the only football person at the club. He's the only person at the club with any sort of proven track record. Oh, it's painful, isn't it? But for me, we wholeheartedly have to back Mauricio Pochettino. Please let me know your thoughts on this, by the way. Really interested. I don't know if this is going to divide opinion. I don't know if this is a divisive point. But my mind was blown. I try and stay off social. But I went on and saw loads of conversation around potentially sacking Pochettino. My mind was blown. Thank you for watching. Really do appreciate it. Would love for you to click subscribe, join the community that we're building here. It would be my honour if you would be part of it. And as always, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll be in there the second I push this video live. Cheers.